All right. I just wanted, hi, how you doing? I hope you're good. Um, I just wanted to make a quick video because I keep seeing this like child-free by choice thing recommended to me. Like it's been days and days of it, and some of the content, like affiliated with it is interesting, but on the whole, it's like very sad, very, very sad. Um, and I feel really weird because like a lot of these women just look like they've been really hurt. Like women typically, are raised to be people pleasers and, to put our own feelings aside and think about the needs of other people. And in relationships, if you're like a people pleaser, what you're used to doing with your girlfriends, like liking whatever band that they like or whatever drink that it is that they drink, like those little things, those little behaviors that show loyalty or submission that work well with your female friends, they don't achieve the same end with your male friends. When you submit easily to a man, then they kind of like try to make you submit to more things, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, I don't like to be difficult or contrary. I just like, get away from there, Peter. Naughty, typical boy. But I've learned in my life that if I like go with the flow and let my boundaries down over time, I will like not recognize the relationship that I'm in. And I think a lot of women go from like being equal. You both have a steering. Wow, Brooke really scratched me yesterday. I just had put lotion on Jimmy. But it'll go from like each person having their own remote control to like, oh, I'll just watch you play. And even like the most sweet guy, would probably go a little crazy with all that absolute power. Peter, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Stop it. I told you not to do it yesterday, you naughty boy. Go. Anyway, cats. Let him outside to sit in the sun. Does he just sit in the sun? No. He tries to walk around the other side and hop down and go play in the tree and run away. And if he runs away, anyway, so yeah, I definitely have noticed in these clips a lot of women exhibiting that same kind of behavior where like they aren't saying that now, they're just like really bitter and mad that like the thing that has worked for them for pretty much our whole lives with girls does not yield the same result with men. In fact, it makes things very bad. So I've observed this and I'm like, okay, it's interesting that all these women are like, fuck men, I live alone, this and that. Women are like very social creatures. I still remember, my time as a young lady, a young girl, and girls are always, clumped up, hanging out with each other, doing things together. There's like a lot of that like lemming qualities to women. They all just kind of like, oh, okay, you're getting a strawberry daiquiri, I'll get a strawberry daiquiri. Oh, you want to share a turkey sandwich? Okay. Like it's just like, that's just how girls are. So it makes it really difficult in relationships when you do that with guys, thinking that they're gonna be all like sweet and nice back to you. They're not. They're seeing you as like making it easy to submit to them. Okay, anyway, like I was saying, girls will do that thing and it doesn't work. And guys occasionally will do that thing with each other, but like I don't know. I think that it comes from like having everything be, like separated sports, separated classrooms. A lot of kids, especially on the East Coast, went to private schools and they only hung out with like, either girls or boys, so that when they do finally start interacting with each other, they really have no idea like what to expect. So if you meet one weird guy and you're like, yeah, that was weird, then you kind of assume that's like how all guys are, because you haven't really interacted with them much. And I don't know if like the rest of the South is like that, but where I am in Tennessee, I've met enough girls that they like went to an all-girls school and they're really weird. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's no way I would ever want my child to go to, you know, just a girls' school or a co-ed school. That's just like, that's so inappropriate. Like, it's dangerous beyond anything, because these women, like all of these women in these weird TikToks that I've seen, they all seem like they're relatively well educated. They're my age, they're in their 30s or their late 20s, and they just seem fucking miserable. Like, they seem like they actually don't know what they like or what they're interested in, and they're just like trying to heal from, you know, that weird girl thing not working out. And I don't really like know what the solution is, aside from just trying to be contrary. You know, black girls are very good at that, and they get a lot of heat for it, but that is definitely something I've noticed over time when I look at successful relationships, you know, successful marriages, because for me that's like, yeah, that's a successful relationship. If you're going to get married, you both have complete faith in one another, that you're going to be together and there for each other. And when I see black women get married, they typically are a bit more on the contrarian side. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't like this. No. And from the outside, you're like, wow, how does she do that? And as I've gotten older, I'm like, she tried it the other way and it didn't work. Because if you try to be like, oh, yeah, sure, whenever you want. Yeah, let's go here. Yeah, let's do that. They don't respect you. Like, if you can do that with your girlfriends, fine. Do not try doing that with a guy. You have to make them shoot a couple more ideas out. And you know, sometimes it's easier said than done, but I guess the whole point of this is that, like, there's so many women that I see that would be really good mothers. You know, sometimes relationships don't make sense, or the guy you're with is an asshole, or, you know, like, it's very rarely perfect where you like just have this great job and a 5-bedroom house, and then, oh my god, we've been married for 5 years and we just got pregnant. Like, it you know, it like never happens like that. Like, life is kind of messy, and it's kind of silly to assume that, like, you know, that your life will be perfect. That happens to like maybe like, you know, 0.5% of people where everything just works out like perfectly. Probably even less. So yeah, I don't know. My life has totally changed since I had my daughter in my late 20s. I always remember feeling like this immense dread when I would get off of work. Like, I didn't have anything to do, and I knew it, you know, so I could go home and like organize my clothes or sort through my art supplies, but like everything was on lock. I was just waiting for my children to show up. And I really felt like that. I started feeling the baby burn when I was like maybe 23. I wasn't like fully aware of it, but I had an abortion at that time, and it like did not stop. I thought that like it would go away, but it didn't. It just like magnified the feelings. I would see children and I would like, you know, I would just start crying. That happened for many years, and it was very uncomfortable for me and the kids, because they were like, who the fuck, why is this lady just crying? Like, what did I do? I don't even know her. So I know that a lot of other women are experiencing that baby burn, and it's so hard to explain it. You know, you just like want to make sandwiches for children, you know, or even like sometimes for guys, but you see little kids, you're like, oh, I want to take care of you. And then, you know, you're like, oh, I want my own children. And so you go about it doing your girl things with your male relationships, and it won't work. I don't think anyone is child-free by choice. They like waited too long to have kids, and now they're just like dealing with the consequences of that. But Brooke is the best. You know, children are wonderful. They are like so fun. They're always, so, you know, not, it's very stressful. I get very tired, but like, I would rather be tired and like working my ass off than getting off of work and having that anxiety of like, what the fuck am I gonna do with myself? And, you know, you come up with activities to fill the time. You know, you do your hair, you get your nails done, you volunteer, you know, learn how to make things, you try to make friends. I haven't really tried to be making a whole lot of friends in the last couple of years, because women are just not very nice. I think a lot of them had like one really good friend and they tried doing that thing I described and it like didn't, they just got walked all over. And that's hard. That's really hard to deal with as a girl, because, you know, you don't want to show someone your tummy and have them like punch it. So, yeah, I don't know. When I think about my daughter, I'm so glad that she's here. It's like worth all the, you know, any additional stress or work. She's so fun. So, yeah, like that's really, of these videos, I've just seen women being like, oh, they didn't plan for their kids. Like the chance that you were a planned pregnancy is very slim. In, you know, my life, growing up as a kid, it was maybe less than 10% of kids were like, oh yeah, my parents planned on having me. They went to Bora Bora and they had a vacation, and then there I was. And a lot of people will go to Sedona, you know, and intentionally have a kid there, you know, once all their kids are grown. Their kids will be like, you know, 12, getting to be that point where they're about out of the house, and they'll have another kid because they're like, okay, you know. So I don't really understand. Relationships allow you to build. You can only build so much by yourself. You need other people to do that. So yeah, I don't know what other women are really envisioning for their lives, but I could only really dedicate my 20s to, you know, being really selfish and doing whatever I wanted. Granted, at the time, I still worked, you know, 3-4 jobs. I just worked doubles all the time because I like money. And I didn't know what to do with myself when I got off. And I think a lot of other women are that way, but they don't really know how to, like, explain it. So, I hope that this has made sense. I think that a lot of the child-free by choice people are just kind of in denial, because it is really hard to have a kid if you wait. You know, it is. I've had quite a few miscarriages, and those really hurt. Especially when you're trying to pretend like you don't care about having kids. You know, your heart opens up in weird ways. So, yeah, that's like one of the things I've been thinking about. I don't know why any woman would try to turn another woman away from something that's so fulfilling. The best example I can think of is if like your kid will be like you. So if you're chill, your kid will be chill. It's the same thing as when you first get a dog, or you meet a dog and they're like really high strung and they're just like their owner. And they're like a new dog owner, and they don't understand, like, oh, this dog's so crazy. Like, well, it's because you're so crazy. They're just picking up on your energy. It's the same thing with moms. Like, if you don't raise your kids to be independent and self-sufficient, then they will be codependent and inefficient. Like, they'll be relying on you. So unless you teach them how to do things themselves, they will always be asking you to do it for them, because they're kids. They don't know any better. So, I don't know. It's the same thing with kids. If you're high-strung and weird, your kids will probably be high-strung and weird and will stress you out. But if you're cool and nice, then your kids will also be cool and nice. So, I don't think having kids is for everybody, especially women that are going out saying, like, oh, I don't want to have kids. Like, Jesus, I hope you never do, because that's, like, a pretty scary thing to be saying. Like, you don't want to be trusted with a sweet, innocent, defenseless little baby. Okay, well, I guess you couldn't be. Like, babies rely on you for everything, and I think for most women, that's just, like, too much. They only want to worry about themselves. They were only children. They never had brothers and sisters, you know, and I think that's a big disservice that you can do to girls. I think guys maybe could be only children and, like, learn how to, you know, be in relationships, but they still struggle. Like, there's no reason in society for there to be an only child or an only dog, or, you know, it's just weird. Like, I don't know why people do that. So,